You ready to talk fat?
So ready.
Okay, let's move over. We've got Anna Varriano in the kitchen here waiting for us. How are you, Anna? Great to see you again. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So we're talking fats today, and there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to fats, because when you say the word, everybody just recoils in fear, right? But you're here to say not all fats are bad fats.
That's right.
Right? So tell us a little, why is that? Why do we need fats, first of all?
They have a load of critical functions in our body, and they're really important for us to have a healthy nervous system, a healthy brain, and in fact we have to eat fat to lose fat. So today I thought I would break some big fat lies.
Oh, I like that. Big fat lies.
Okay, well, let's break some of those misconceptions. What do you want to start with?
We're going to start with eggs.
Okay.
So a lot of people hear the word eggs and they think cholesterol, and then they start thinking,
I can only have the egg whites, or is that really what you should be doing?
Well, no.
Okay, see, this is the thing.
This is our education.
I just want so glad you're here. People are like, oh, I can only have the egg whites, and then trying to be health conscious.
Yeah, they either avoid eggs altogether, or they throw out the yolk and they maybe buy products like this, which is not how Mother Nature gave us eggs. So we don't have to fear cholesterol. There's lots of studies now that show that cholesterol is really important for our health. It's part of all of our cell membranes, and we can't be a healthy person unless our cells are healthy. And we need cholesterol to make vitamin D and hormones. And so there's nothing wrong with eating eggs. Actually, I eat a couple of eggs every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There used to be that, like going back 20 years ago, remember that was the big thing is, oh, you know, have eggs only once or twice a week. And now with all the research that's been done, you can eat them every day.
That's right. And there's this misconception that the cholesterol that we get from foods has a huge impact on our blood cholesterol, but actually cholesterol is such an important nutrient that our body makes 85% of our blood cholesterol.
Now, there must be such a thing as too much cholesterol, though. Do you have to be?
I mean, there's such a thing of too much of everything.
That's right.
That's
and there's healthy fat and there's not so healthy fat, depending on how we cook it and how it's processed, etc. But having a couple of eggs a day, that's what I do.
That's what I'm excited about. You mentioned, you know, how you choose to cook with specific oils and butters and what have you. And so are you suggesting that how you, let's say olive oil, for example, if you're putting it in a frying pan, does that actually decrease its value? Like, is that a rumor? Is it true?
It can denature it. The most stable fats to cook with are saturated fats, so those are the ones that are solid at room temperature. So as we go to more liquid oils, they're less stable for cooking.
Oh, that's really good to know.
Well, let's move on to oils here. You've got butter.
Yes.
You brought some margarine and some various oils here.
So here's another misconception that butter is going to clog our arteries and give us heart attacks because it's a saturated fat, and saturated fats have gotten a bad rap, and people kind of move towards margarine. But margarine is a processed product. I mean, we can make butter in our kitchen by shaking some whole fat milk, but can't make margarine in your kitchen. And so margarine is typically made with oils that have been shown to promote inflammation in the body, and also some oils that are from genetically modified crops.
Right, like you said, it's processed.
Like soy and corn, etc. So in fact, there's a study that came out in the British Medical Journal, and they showed that when people swap out saturated fats like butter and replace them with these types of vegetable oils, that they actually increase the likelihood of getting cardiovascular and other health issues.
That's shocking.
So in my book, that statement, butter is better.
Right. I'm glad to hear it, because I mean, just the
it's
flavor.
Assuring, exactly. And you know, I worked in restaurants for years, and sometimes guests would say, you know, they'd order a menu item off the menu. They say, you know, no butter, please, cook in oil instead. You know, what would you say in that situation, or what would you suggest? Maybe just have less butter if they're being that conscious, or just, it's just so funny how people can think that something so good for you.
Yeah, always go for the closest to nature, and butter is a lot closer to nature than some of these other oils. I actually I've had this in my basement for 6 years, and it looks and smells exactly the same.
You're kidding! Is that are you serious?
That tells you something. If something is lasting that long, you know that it's processed and preserved.
It's like McDonald's French fries.
I know, a McDonald's French fry will never change its look.
Can I see the expiration date? I'm like blown away by this. 2012, Wow, it's old enough.
If you left butter out for that long, it would be blue and green and moldy.
All right, let's move on. What else? What have you got
we
here?
have yogurt.
Okay.
Yes. So last time I was on, I talked about the health benefits of yogurt and how they're the source of probiotics and how we should get plain yogurt and organic yogurt. But something I wanted to touch upon is when you go to the yogurt counter, there's so many low-fat options or no-fat options, and very few yogurts that have whole milk. And those are the ones that I choose. For a couple of reasons. One is that the fat in whole dairy has some great compounds in it that help us to lose weight, They help to balance our blood sugar. They reduce inflammation in the body. So there are healthy components in whole fat milk.
Okay.
The other thing is when you take the fat out of a product, like something like yogurt, you lose that creaminess and that texture that fat gives it. So a lot of zero fat or low fat dairy products have thickeners in them. Some use cornstarch, some use thickeners like carrageenan or xanthan gum and guar gum, and there's some research now that some of those thickeners can cause gastrointestinal distress for people.
My goodness.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're going to go for yogurt, get whole fat yogurt, plain organic yogurt.
Okay.
And what's your take on Greek yogurt?
It's great. Again, I would choose a whole fat
Right.
organic.
Right.
It's got more protein in it, but yeah.
Labeling sometimes. Can we talk about this blue menu for a second here? Because I think people see this and they assume
Healthy.
it's healthy for you or healthier than some alternatives out there. When you see labels like this, should you pay careful attention that they might be, trying to fool you into?
Oh, you have to read the
yeah.
labels, and that's actually the next little sample of goods. There is
Yes.
a sample of where it's really important to read the labels. So one fat that most people agree on that is bad for us is man-made trans fats.
Right.
Trans fats, or I call them fake fats, and some people call them Franken fats.
Right.
Franken fats.
These are taking me way back right now. Do you remember? Did you ever have these
Oh,
at
yeah.
lunch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so some people say, oh, no worry, I'll just look for that zero trans fat label or the no trans fat label. But I'm here to tell you that just because a product has a zero trans fat or no trans fat label on the front, it doesn't mean that it doesn't contain trans fats. And yeah,
That should be illegal.
I know.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Well, it's due to current labeling laws. So
Okay.
food manufacturers can make a zero trans fat claim if there's less than 0.2 grams of trans fats per serving. So guess what happens to the per serving
Right.
number, right?
Right.
They make it small enough so
Yeah.
that you can make
They
that
can fit it
claim.
in.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm telling you that
That's
it's
shady.
hard, eh?
It's totally shady.
So, if you're buying packaged goods, whether they're on the shelf or in the freezer section or in the refrigerator section of the grocery store, regardless of what it says on the front of the package, turn it over, read the label, and in terms of trans fats, there's no question that they're bad for us. So if an ingredient label says partially hydrogenated oil, that's trans fat.
Okay.
Oh.
If it says shortening, it's probably got trans fats in it. And so to be on the safe side, I also stay away from any kind of oil that is described as being modified or
Right.
hydrogenated or
Okay.
interesterified.
Right.
They're changed, they're modified. Trans fats have been chemically altered, and our body doesn't know what to do with them.
So
Right.
those are some key words to look for when it comes to labeling.
Exactly, and it goes back to your original point too. When choosing what to eat, your best bet is always go for what seems most natural.
Could I make this in my kitchen, or did
Right.
my grandma have it in
Yeah.
her kitchen? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we want things on the go. I mean, like, something like this, right? You think, I want a quick snack on the go. You're probably better off trying to make something yourself, right, at home. Just a trail mix of some sort. And so this is probably full of sugar.
Yeah, there's some
I'm
good
sure.
granola bars, some bad granola bars. Actually, there was an article that came out last week, I think, that compared some different granola bars, and some of them had up to 5 or 6 teaspoons of sugar in them.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so I don't think you would knowingly do that.
Well, I know,
Maybe
it's
5 or
just
6
things
teaspoons
like
of
that,
sugar.
right? Look, there's icing sugar on it. It's a granola bar with icing
I
sugar.
had a dark chocolate covered coconut bar, and it looked healthy, and the label said gluten free, this and that, and all
Oh,
this
that's
stuff.
the
And
new
I'm
one,
like,
is gluten-free,
right, and so I'm
right,
thinking
yeah.
like, oh, I'm making the right choice. And then I just happened to look at the back, and it was 28 grams of sugar. And
Yeah.
I was
For
like,
one bar?
For one bar. But yet it looks so organic, like the packaging on the outside, like it
Yeah.
looks so healthy, like looks
They
to be
fool us.
deceiving. It needs to really.
Yeah, there's 5 grams of sugar in a teaspoon. So when you start
Oh.
converting it into teaspoons,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
And I know that World Health Organization has tried to push to put it in teaspoons because people understand teaspoons.
They
They don't
register,
understand the
that's
brain,
right.
Our brains don't necessarily
Well, it makes
register.
sense, yeah. We
That's
use
right.
teaspoons every day, so you can just mentally.
Yeah. And it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's a great
Yeah.
education for
Thank
people.
you.
Appreciate you coming on the show. Don't go away. We're back with more Daytime right after this.